Josh Simmons or Armand Membou? Couple of mock drafts have the Bears taking different tackles, but both going tackle at that spot. Who fits the best? That's what we talked about this morning on the Morning Breeze. It's time for the Morning Breeze recap. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. As always, this is a recap of the full Morning Breeze. Tap in to the full episode to get all the nuance and context on it. But this is just kind of the quick points from the episode, the cliff notes, if you will, from the Morning Breeze. And this morning, we talked about Mel Kiper having Josh Simmons to the Chicago Bears and some of the concerns injury-wise around Josh Simmons. My big concern with Josh Simmons right now is the fact that he's somebody who's very high on many people's boards and who people are looking at and saying, look, you know, we know that he had the injury that was season-ending. I believe it was the patellar tendon in the knee. We know that he had the injury that was season-ending, but we liked what we saw before he left. Which is fine, I understand it. You look at the player, you like the things that he was able to do before he ended up having that season-ending injury. Here's my problem with that, though. Ohio State schedules just about no one in their first 5 games of the season, and that, to me, is a bit concerning. When I look at a guy like Josh Simmons and some of the competition that he faced this season, by the way, which has proven to be his best season, I think that to me is more concerning than the injury because, yeah, of course you look good against the teams that you're supposed to look good against when the best pass rusher on any of the teams you went up against plays for Marshall, right? Like, and not to discredit Mike Green. You guys know I'm high on Mike Green. I think he's a player that could be really solid here for the Chicago Bears and somebody I would draft at 10. But to me, Josh Simmons, when you looked your best was versus the weakest part of the competition you were going to play all season, I have question marks on that. Everything else, does he check the boxes on? Size, ability, footwork? Yes. He does check the boxes. But can you do that? Can you pass set that way? Can you be able to set a solid base? Can you continually put yourself in a position of an advantage on that left side when it's not a guy who's probably going to be selling insurance in a year, right? When it's not a guy who's going to be focused on his studies more than he's going to be focused on the football field. When it's not a guy who is somebody who's not going to be an NFL caliber player. Now, when he did go up against NFL caliber talent, right? Like I said, Mike Green is kind of the best pass rusher that I think he went up against in that time. Mike Green had some wins. Josh Simmons had some wins. Did some really good things. Thought he got beat a couple of times, was able to recover. Green spent more time on the right side than he did on the left side where Simmons was at, but a little bit of that moving around did afford him some opportunity to go out there and kind of attack. And realistically, with how Ohio State looked, he won more than he lost in that matchup. So I think that's kind of the feel-good part of the Josh Simmons story. As far as the injury goes, right, I mean, that's a major concern for me as well. But my concern is more, are you excited about the flashes more than you're excited about the actual production of the player? Because when you've seen Josh Simmons go up against some of that NFL caliber talent, it has been an up and down story. Is that something that you can risk at 10? On top of that, you add the injury. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Now, that was Mel Kiper's mock draft. And by the way, he had us taking Josh Simmons over Kelvin Banks Jr., which is something that the Athletics mock draft has us doing as well. Scott Doterman talked about this at number 10. He has the Bears taking Arman Membou. He says Bears quarterback was sacked 68 times as a rookie, which makes the offensive line a priority with a top 10 selection. Pro Football Focus ranks him the nation's 5th ranked offensive tackle this season and number 7 overall in run blocking. Membo was a bulldozer on the at the right tackle for the Tigers, and if left tackle Braxton Jones' recovery from an ankle complication complicates his future, Membo could line up inside or at tackle for Chicago. No matter where he plays, He's an upgrade for new coach Ben Johnson. And listen, I was watching Membo tape last night preparing for this episode, and I think here's the thing for me that really stands out about Membo. To me, he's somebody who is a pass setter, right? Like he sets his protection quickly, gets out into the chest of the defensive end. Love it. Great footwork. I think he protects to the outside extremely well. Even in times where he gets beat, the recovery on this young man seems to be elite. I love how he gets the hands inside when guys try to spin inside on him, kind of controlling that line of scrimmage. I think he's a great player. Here's my only issue with Membo here at 10. Membo plays on the right side, right? In theory, if you're signing Trey Smith, if you're signing Drew Dahlman, all right, random. In theory, somebody said my name. In theory, if you're signing Trey Smith, if you're signing Drew Dahlman, right, you want Trey Smith to be next to Darnell Wright, who's on that right side. That means that you're probably moving Membo to the left side. Now, he's played right tackle pretty much all of his career outside of a couple of snaps in college. He has been a perennial right tackle. I'm not saying that you can't move guys. Here's my thing. If the things you fell in love with were how good his technique is, and my God, he's got some amazing technique. If the things you fell in love with were how good his technique is, how quickly he's able to get out on that left side, how perfect his footwork can be on that right side, do you want to take somebody who you're going to have to move to the left side in theory, right? Because you're not even moving him in at right guard. You're moving him to the left side no matter what if you draft him, because you've got Darnell Wright, you've got Trey Smith. They've played together on the right side. Why mess with that dynamic? The Bears have done that already with the Tevin Jenkins experiment. Just go out there and get the job done the right way. To me, I think that is the biggest concern here. Are you drafting a guy for the things that you love that he does on the right side? Now, it's not to say, now I said this on the pod as well, right? If you had to choose one or the other, would you rather have Simmons? Would you rather have Membo? To me, give me Membo, because the conversation on teaching someone is the whole purpose that I went out and got this entire coaching staff. The conversation on teaching someone is the whole reason that I brought in Dennis Allen, the whole reason I brought in Dan Richard, the whole reason we bring in Ben Johnson, the whole reason we bring in, right, all of these names, all these coaches we've been praising all offseason. That's the whole point of having these guys in the building, because if you have these coaches in the building, they should be able to teach guys how to flip things around, because we may need you on the other side. I think that having that versatility is a good thing. But to me, you are kind of going into this season with a little bit of a disadvantage, because he's never played that position before. Maybe he's played it in high school, but at the college level versus the top tier talent that he's been going up against, he has not played this level of competition before. And to me, I think that is the biggest concern for me overall is, are you drafting somebody on the things that you love and then not going to utilize those things that you love? But I would rather take Membo over Simmons, because the concerns around Simmons, I think, are valid. That haven't seen him against top tier talent dominate in the way that he did in the first 6 games of this season. And realistically speaking, now again, only gave up 1 sack last year. I'm not telling you that he was getting cooked week in and week out last season. I don't want people to think that. But when you talk about how dominant he was, I'm talking about like just fully controlling the line of scrimmage. I don't think we saw that from Josh Simmons last year. This year we saw that a heck of a lot more, and I think that's why the draft stock raised up so much. But the knee concern is a concern that you have to keep an eye on. I think that that's something that is going to always linger in Bears fans' minds, because the second he has a knee injury, all you're going to go is, well, we knew he had a knee injury. Why are we surprised by this? You can't act shocked if something goes wrong with the knee when he gets into the NFL. Do you want to keep drafting players that have an injury? Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Who would you rather have, Josh Simmons or Arman Membou? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. This has been your Breeze Recap for the day. The Morning Breeze Recap brought to you by somebody. Get a sponsor on this show. Hey, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love.